What's up, ladies and gents? Welcome back to Red Bandcast here on the Red Bandcast YouTube channel. How you guys doing today? It is late at night, and I'm going to do another kind of late night vlog, kind of like I did earlier a couple weeks back. But I'm actually going to start a new series as well. This is what I'm going to call Drink and Think. It's where I take random drinks that I really enjoy, and I'm going to drink them on camera, review them on camera as well, and talk about something random as well. So that's kind of going to be my new sort of vlog series, probably the principal part of this little small corner of the internet that I have. My first drink, I'm going to see if I can set you guys up so that you can see me open it and everything. There we go. Can't really see me, but this is the drink. Jarritos brand Tamarind flavored soda. Jarritos is something that I've been looking at lately. I have a Mexican friend. Oh, fell down. Man, this is a crappy video, isn't it? But I don't care. Whatever. But he's a big fan of these, and he said that his favorite is Tamarind. So I'm going to have to open this up, get my trusty can opener here, because this is not a twist off. See if there's any way I can get this open with this thing. Oh! He fell down again. As I'm trying to pry this thing open. Man, this is a badly executed video. But I don't care. There we go. Top is off. It's got a very sort of acidic scent. Man, this really is a bad video, but I don't care. I'm only doing it one shot, so got this Tamarind Soda. Kind of smells acidic. Sorry, guys. I'm nasty. This is interesting. This stuff is actually really interesting. I don't know. I think this is definitely worth a try. If you can find it. Sorry. I know. This is not a great video, but it's what I can do right now. But this is actually pretty good. It's got kind of a strange flavor. If you've never had tamarind, this is a good way to try it, I guess, for the first time. Tastes pretty good. I'm trying to describe the flavor. It's kind of got like a sweet and sour kind of thing going on. But like the sweet is very prominent, but it's also got some good sour notes. This is a really good soda. My buddy, who I'm just going to call Mar, because that's one of his nicknames, thank you for recommending this to me. This is a very, very tasty soda. I am a fan. But regardless, so the other part of this series that I'm doing, Drink and Think, is just random vlogs, just talking about random stuff. And what I'm doing right now, and kind of what I'm thinking right now, I'm in the mood for an 80s slasher. And I've got playing on my screen right now, Happy Birthday to Me. It's not my birthday. I've got a number of friends that have birthdays today, so shout out to any of the people who have birthdays today or had them yesterday. But this is a fun 80s slasher movie, man. I was kind of just thinking about 80s slashers. There's something about them in particular that is not redoable, if that's kind of a term to be used. And I guess what I mean by that is that they have a feeling that is not the same anywhere else. And by that I mean, like, there are a number of movies that have come out somewhat recently, mid 2000s to now, that tried to recapture the nostalgia of the 80s and tried to redo these slasher movies. Man, at Jarritos, tons, tons of carbonation. Very, very good. Uh, but anyway, so all these movies came out in the mid 2000s through, I think, even today, that are trying to recapture this sort of 80s feel for slasher movies. And it just doesn't work. Because of a certain type of imagery that was going on, a type of cinematography that was prevalent there. Um, there maybe even have something to do with, like, the film stock that they use. I'm not certain. Um, it's probably also like the clothing styles and sort of this also feeling of immediacy, because there are movies that can be set in the 80s, but movies that actually are set in the 80s and are, were released in the 80s as well, have this particular feel. Um, Everything kind of comes together. That, the synthesizer scores, which are, I think, usually more minimalistic in the 80s than the sort of mimic scores are today. Um, Stuff by John Carpenter, of course. Stuff by Alan Howarth, and I'd say even some of the stuff by Harry Manfredini. Some of his sort of synthesizer stuff, and also his sort of more orchestral stuff. Um, that stuff has got an original flavor to it that is unique, and they're even unique to slasher movies of the past, because 70s slasher movies don't have the same feel of, say, a Happy Birthday to Me, or a My Bloody Valentine, or The Burning. They don't have that same thing. And maybe it's because a lot of them had not so great acting, but had somewhat strong writing in them. Whereas usually the 70s ones seem to have a little bit more balanced on both of those. Um, I don't know. There's something just induplicatable. That's not a word, but I'm going to coin it here. About 80s slasher movies. And I don't know if I can put my finger on exactly what it is, but it's kind of a nebulous, swirling thing about all these things that I've been talking about. Um, so that's, I guess, something that was on my mind. Also, sort of on my mind, talking about this, is this sort of 80s nostalgia that is springing up as sort of a second wave. There was that earlier wave in the early to mid 2000s where there were people who were nostalgic for the 80s, but I think it's really hitting hard now, and I think one of the reasons, and I don't want to be, overly politically analytical, but I think it has also to do with the fact that for the first time in 8 years, we have a Republican president, and specifically a Republican president that comes out of not politics, but out of entertainment, kind of like how Reagan came out. And I'm not saying that's a good thing, I'm not saying that's a bad thing, take it for whatever you think. But I think there's a similarity there. There's definitely a group of younger people who have a respect for the 1980s, kind of like I am. Didn't grow up in the 1980s. I didn't. Many of the younger folks that would consider themselves like Trump fans, and I'm not going to say if I am or not, but any young people who would consider themselves fans of Donald Trump, and have this sort of respect for the 80s, usually did not grow up then, but have a sort of tangential nostalgia. And maybe this is part of my generation, as the sort of millennial generation, in that we had parents that wanted to show us the movies that they kind of either grew up watching or were watching when they were in college and high school, stuff like that. Um, and through that, we became interested in the same type of movies and same type of music and culture, and it sort of entrenched us in that. And there's a group of us people who really do love Donald Trump or love, the Republican Party, who happen to also love this 80s stuff, and they're making this connection in their mind with the political field both today and back then. And it creates culture that is somewhat mimicking the 80s. We have Stranger Things coming out. There'll be a third season. We have the It remake, which is set in the 80s and incredibly 80s style. All this other stuff. It's incredible how the 80s seems to be coming back in certain ways with films and television and culture in general. So, I don't think this is very insightful. I'll admit that. However, I do think that I've had fun talking about it. Maybe you've had fun listening to me. I've probably made a lot of ands and ums and buttas and all that stuff like that. Obviously, I've had horrible camera angles up and down and all that crap. Don't worry, I've got pants on, you're good. But I've introduced you to a new soft drink. And I've given some partly maybe insightful commentary on some subset of culture. So, hope you enjoy that. So, to you and yours, rock on. If you like, subscribe. Talk to you later. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.